we wanted to talk about, I don't even have the article in front of me about this guy. If you got it in front of you.
Yeah, let me pull it up.
Like,
And there'll be a link to it in the description, of course.
Okay, let's see. Here we go. Okay, so are you guys familiar with the Super Soaker?
Love that toy.
Yeah. I mean,
The
we've all
best
probably
toy in
played
the summer.
Super Soaker. We've all probably paid for it. And how many of us have ever thought about who actually created the Super Soaker? I never thought about it. I just thought it came from the toy factories where all toys come from. so, Santa Claus, elves or something. I don't know. I really never really thought about it. And even as grown up and gotten older and you realize somebody creates this stuff, to find out that the Super Soaker creator was a Black man.
I know that's right.
Yeah, Lonnie Johnson. And,
good old Lonnie.
Yeah, unfortunately, Hasbro was not paying him for his idea. So recently, though, he was awarded, now time for the drum roll, $72.9 million in back royalties for his.
Say that again.
$72.9 million owed royalties were finally paid to Mr. Lonnie Johnson. So,
wow.
That's
if they owed him $72 million, imagine how much they actually made off the toy.
Yeah. Yep. They I'm sure they made a lot off of that toy. Oh, because they got all types of Super Soakers out. Super Soakers with camo, Super Soakers for girls. So yes, I'm sure they still eating off of that every day. Yes. So, but so there's a couple of things to look at. One perspective that I was thinking about is, now this man, he created it. That means he engineered it. He came up with a plan, schematics, and he patented it. That's how he went to court with it. So intellectual property versus hard physical labor. There are benefits to both, right?
Yes, definitely.
But I think overall, trying to support a business or find a business where you can use your intellectual property versus your physical labor is probably a better choice, just because this man has been fighting Hasbro since 2007, right? 2007. So it's 2020. So for the last
Honey,
this man has been in court fighting for his royalties, and he finally won. You're not going to get back your labor for your business if you do it. And I have a physical labor business as well. I have intellectual property businesses, but I also have a physical labor business. And I know when I go and I do my work and I come home, I'm only getting paid once for that. And while I'm young, yeah, it's cool. But when I'm 60, I'm not going to get back my physical labor work. In fact, I'm probably going to feel it in my bones.
Yes. My knees be cracking and popping.
But for my intellectual property work, I can get paid. My kids can get paid. It is something that lasts and stands the test of time. And we all have access to be able to create some intellectual property. You just have to find the right medium and the right way to do it. So what do you think, Tiff?
I think I get exactly what you're saying, because I've actually kind of made that turn probably last year looking into it. One thing that I've already done, like for me, I've created an ebook.
Yeah.
Now I have to think about, do I want to do courses? Which are things that I don't have to physically be there for it to be sold and make money.
Yeah.
I'm in love right now with digital products.
Yes.
Because, and I feel that might be the wave of the future. So remember Tiff said that, that digital products are it's not that about it's easy to make, it's just more of it's simple for the consumer.
Mm-hmm.
And I only have to make it one time.
Yes. But you can sell it a million times.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
if times change, maybe I may need to update it in a certain section, to go with what the times are going through, whatever. That's simple.
Yeah.
That's really simple because I could be in bed and I can make money.
Right.
Any kind of concept that requires that I not be present to make money, I'm in love with.
Yes.
Which is why I like online selling.
Right.
Because even though, I have a physical product, I have to make my listing show that it's available for sale or whatnot. I don't have to be present. I don't have to give you a sales pitch.
Right. Don't have to go door to door.
Exactly. Which one of the things that I am working on is calling selling for introverts.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell them online selling is the best place for you because most people that are kind of like introverts are probably very good descriptive in words.
Yes.
So they can put very good descriptions together on the product, which sells itself.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't have to talk to anybody.
That's right.
And it kind of even though you're conversing with the customer by them looking at your listing and seeing your items, you really don't have to do that whole sales pitch. You don't have to do the whole, I call it the car salesperson.
Yes.
To be that extra pushy. This product is going to be great, and we show you why, and blah 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 blah, and blah 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 blah. Or those people that like to push whatever product they sell in that week on you, and it's I am a passive person, whereas even though I feel like I have traits of extrovert and introvert, so I'm outgoing a lot, but a lot of people are very surprised that I don't always like talking, even though I do lots of it. So when you can make intellectual property, in my opinion, that's your passive income.
Yes. Yep.
That's that income that continues to pay you for years and years down the road.
Yep.
And look at that. Look at what Mr. Lonnie did.
Yes.
Okay. Now, Mr. Lonnie, I will tell you, I've done a little bit of research about him for a whole nother show. And Mr. Lonnie, I just like calling him Mr. Lonnie. I don't know why. I feel like if I was to meet him, I would say Mr. Lonnie if I met him. That's what I would call him. Hopefully he'd be okay with that. So what I love about him is he is a creative thinker.
Yes.
He innovates, and he seems like someone that if you went into a party, he would be quiet and reserved.
Yeah.
Maybe hugging the wall, might speak to a couple of people, not the life of the party.
Right.
Now that's just what I gather because I've watched a lot of interviews with him. And, he doesn't seem to be like boastful because if I had his accolades, I'd be telling everybody. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's what I gather about him. So I'm happy that he's able to get his money because he definitely deserves it. Definitely. Gosh, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
In the article that we're reading, it says that Johnson is a part of a small group of African American inventors whose work accounts for 6% of all U.S. patent applications. So that's a room for I read that as room for opportunity for all you wannabe tinkers out there who are jerry-rigging things in your house and doing stuff.
Yes.
I'm going to tell you that a little bit of information can hurt somebody or not hurt somebody, can help somebody. Let's say, finding like an AutoCAD program for free online is very simple, and coming up with some schematics. You can actually just do a hand drawing of what you've created to submit for patent work. You can hire companies to help you with it, and they're not that expensive. I mean, it's not cheap either, but it's
right.
If you're, let's just look at this. Let's say you have the next super soaker and you have to spend $1,000 to get somebody to help you get your patent package together. But down the line, you could be bringing in $72.9 million. Well, that $1,000 doesn't seem so big anymore now, does it?
That's the best $1,000 you ever spent.
That's the best $1,000 you ever spent, right? But so all of us who are going to get some tax returns in a few weeks here, instead of turning that money into something that you don't even have to show for, you know what I mean? Put it into your business, put it into your development of your dream.
Right.
Hire that attorney, hire that person to help you take your idea to the next level. It could be, like you said, the best $1,000 you ever spent. You know what I mean? We have a consumer mindset, but we invite you to switch from being a consumer to being a seller, to being a business owner, to being somebody who is creating something for other people to buy, because that's the marketplace that we live in. We live in a marketplace. And if you got an idea, the only way it's going to get out there is if you promote it. And it takes money to promote, but it doesn't take that much money. It more takes your own initiative and motivation to get it out there. But let me tell you, I am a person I do things on a shoestring.
Okay.
I look for all kinds of options that I can learn to navigate that are free, low cost options to promote my businesses. And if I get a gold one, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna stick with that, or I'm gonna invest in it.
Tell it. And let me tell you, yep. YouTube University.
Oh shoot!
Is quite helpful. Okay.
I think I got a master's degree at
all right.
University by now.
I am actually so mad.
Put that on my resume, Tiffany, and see if anybody notices.
Because when we were younger, when we had to find out how to do something or see someone else do something, we had to go through a whole process. Like, you had to go to the library. Yes. Okay. I remember I thought I was hot stuff because my mom went out and bought a whole encyclopedia group, so I didn't have to go to the library no more. Okay. Yes. Now, kids, when you want to know something, you can just go Google and YouTube and go, how do I do this? Yep. How do I do that? You'll see 50 million videos. There, you can also get a course. Yes. So when it comes
courses for $10 that will teach you everything you ever wanted to know about a subject for $10.
$10. $10.
I mean, I'm all for college, but the internet is making college obsolete. I mean, I'm just if you're informational based. I mean, if we're talking about stats and clout, that's another thing.
Right.
You can find just about anything on the internet if you look properly. Yeah.
Yes. And now look. Yes, if you want to go to college to be a doctor, I suggest you go. I want you to go to college to do that. Okay? Don't learn no surgery on no YouTube. Okay? However, if you have a business idea rolling through your head and you're like, I'm missing one part of it. I know I need to do X, Y, and Z. Just start searching. Yeah. You find so many answers, not just answers, but also things that could explode your business. And go, okay, this is what consumers want, or this is how I put this together. So many, I always tell people the first, I do coaching here and there. It's not services that I advertise because it takes a lot of my time. Love people, but I do coaching. And my first question is, what have you done on your own before you come to me?
Right.
Because I kind of need to know that you're comfortable searching for answers. Because you can't call me 2:00 in the morning and start asking me a whole bunch of questions about, I set up my store and this, that, and the third. Okay. First of all, a lot of these places, especially when it comes to online selling, A lot of these places have very good help functions.
Yes.
First, Amazon. Okay, I find it hilarious that there are people selling courses on how to do Amazon when Amazon has made their own videos.
Yes.
Step by step on how to set this up. How to do this. All you do is click on and type a few words of what you're looking for. Here comes a video, 2 to 3 minutes, explaining everything.
Yep.
Okay. And they also have people you can call and all that type of stuff. But most platforms that you're trying to use have a help function there for a reason. Use it. And and also that tells whatever company you're dealing with or you're trying to use, if everyone keeps having the same type of question or something like that, then they can kind of put the answers to that up front.
Yes. Yep.
Because they can go, oh, there's a problem with our messaging because people are asking this question, people are asking that question. Let's put our messaging out there to say X, Y, and Z because so many people have this question.
That's correct. Yeah. Yep.
Look at all these business tips we've given today.
Well, I know we got tons of business tips that in this episode alone for people to, because I was thinking about what we talk about, and I was thinking about how to best be, or how to be more helpful to people, and because we're not necessarily being an entrepreneur, like we can't be experts in every single business that's out there. I don't know the first thing about, hair products or hair styling and stuff like that. But I do know how to market. You know what I mean? I do know how to identify what people want, how to identify like where you should stick your marketing and your branding and this, that, and the other. And I think people get a little bit too stuck on, what, like businesses are personal, my goals and aspirations are personal to me. Like my level of success or where I want to go with my businesses, that's a personal thing. It's a personal choice. And it is for everybody because everybody doesn't have the same goals and dreams. I mean, I might have a dream to live in a forest with the animals in a cabin, next to a mountain. Like that might be the end all be all, whereas somebody else wants to live in Los Angeles among the stars and go party hopping and do this, that, and the other. But how you get there, there's a standard, there's a process, and that's where we can come in and say, okay, this is what type of person. Like I feel like you and I have the capabilities where we can look at any person with a business idea and tell them what they need to do, what strategy they need to do to get to where they need to go. And we don't have to be LA party hoppers to do that.
Well, exactly. Like if you look at some of the big entrepreneurs that if you start naming names people know, or like I think of like Shark Tank.
Yes, yeah.
Those people are not subject matter experts for every business that they're in.
Right.
But they were smart enough to say, that sounds like a good business idea. Let me give you $10 million. Okay.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then they do their part to do the promotion.
Right.
They have their own teams, where, they work on those different steps. They don't have to know everything about it. Right. I can't tell you how many products I sell. I'm like, what the heck is this for?
Right.
But you know what? People are paying $25 for it. Okay. Yeah, I'll get it for $2.
That's right. Yeah, and so it doesn't matter what you're selling or what kind of service you're offering. Like that's not the point. What separates a person from doing a hobby and doing a business is process.
Yes.
Process. Do you have a process for what you're doing? Do you have a scalable goal for what you're doing, or are you just cooking dinners and doing stuff, and you don't really have any way to go up? And if you get sick, then that's it. That's your business. No dinners this weekend because I'm out, because I cooking for me if you're sick.
Right. Well, it's funny because I learned that the hard way at this point, like 7-8 years ago, because I was the only person cleaning. Yeah. And then, I talk about this Like if anyone ever hires me to speak, I do discuss this. But I was at a point where I had my business, everything was going well. I had an
Yeah.
accident, and
I remember that.
I
Yeah.
couldn't walk for 6 months. I was immobilized. I was in a wheelchair with
Yes.
a boot on, and I was like, "Who's gonna clean my accounts?"
Yep.
So I had to go from operating my business to managing my business.
Yep.
And I ultimately gave up that business because I didn't have the process in place.
Yeah. Yep.
So it worked out for a couple weeks,
Yeah.
but after a certain amount of time, I was like, okay, this is a little too much because I have to focus on recovery.
Yeah.
So, but now I reopened basically the same business, but I have a different business model now. So that when I go on vacation, it doesn't matter.
Yes. Yes.
It doesn't matter at all because I've put processes in place that it essentially is automatic and it runs itself.
Yep. And that is where we can go with you with your business. It doesn't have to be that we know or we, you know what I mean, or that we've even done everything, although we have done a lot. But I'm just
sure have. I know, Nikki. We've been
done a lot. You know,
this little short life we've had, I tell you, we've done a lot. Put it all together, you know.
You know, and you know, I'm going to toot our own horn for us and say this, that, you know, there's some people who do one business and it's a successful business. They do one thing and, you know, okay, that's great. Well, you know, failure is when you learn. So let me tell you, I have failed at a number of things. So I know what not to do with a lot of things. And I know what to do from my successes, you know what I mean? But I feel like what happens, this is where I was going with this. You have one business, you have one idea, and then something happens and that business fails. Then what do you have? You can go back and try to recreate that business. But if you have 15 businesses and 5 fail, you still have 10 that are running. And then you can decide whether or not you want to recreate the failed businesses or not, or let's say, okay, learning experiences. And see, that's where our perspective is. We've done so many different things, but we have things going. And that's one of the things I learned this a couple of years ago, because I was in a situation where I had one income stream, just one, right? And it was a job at that, which is the worst single income stream to have, whether you realize or not, because if you lose your job, you have nothing. You have no benefits. You have no income anymore. You have no security. And unless you have a savings for like 6 months to a year saved up, you have nothing. Maybe you can go. Now, the other thing is, not only did I lose my job, but I also lost it in a recession. So that means people weren't hiring.
Honey.
So not only did I not have any business, no backup business income streams coming in, I lost a job in a recession where people were either not hiring or they wanted to pay you $5 for $10 worth of work. So the lesson I learned, and then my car broke down and I got sick, and this is a whole bunch of other crap that happened.
Of course, that's how life works.
That's how life works, right? But this is
Nick.
From that point on, I learned that never will I only have one income stream. Never. Even if I have, like I said, 10 or 15 income streams and only 10 of them are making money, and 5 of them are, we're in the research period, I will never not have only one income stream, because that is a recipe for failure. You lose that income stream, you lose your whole life.
Exactly.
So, and if your money is supporting your house, your mortgage, your rent payments, your all kinds of bills and stuff.
All your bills.
Now you're messed up your credit because you can't pay your bills. You've maxed out your credit cards trying to pay your bills. It is just not a good look.
Yeah. So, and they pull your credit to get another job.
They pull your credit, and then you see, well, ma'am, you've had a number of missed payments. Yeah, well,
Yes, because I didn't have a job.
Yes. So that's why I the whole point of even participating in Entrepremommies is to get people to start thinking outside of that one job mentality, that one, I'm not even gonna call it a job, that one income stream mentality. You got
There
to
you
have
go.
more things. If you want to have a sustainable life, you have to have more things on the table. Your job can't just be at Lucan's. The city of Coatesville learned that lesson.
And they're still learning it.
And they're still learning it.
Because, you know,
yes,
you have a city that depends on this one industry,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and when that one industry leaves, it has a ripple effect.
Yes. Yep.
Because, you know, the way is break down the economy of a city. Okay. So let's say you got one large employer. Well, because of that one large employer, now more small businesses start to pop up.
Yep.
Different, you know. So why? Because that one large employer, those employees need things.
Yes.
So
they need clothes and food.
Yes. Yep. So you're going to have a few more little restaurants open.
Yep.
Okay. That's a small business that is probably either like family owned or something like that. Probably a convenience store.
Yeah.
Okay. And if it's a large industry that's going to have people in and out, you're going to have lodging.
That's right.
Okay. You're going to have, because of the economy of having that one business, it builds up the economy of that city. And sometimes even the surrounding cities as well. But if everything is reliant on that one industry in that town, when that industry goes out of business, the restaurant goes out of business. The hotel goes out of business. That convenience store goes out of business. Then what happens? The tax base is now different because now the homeowners, property owners, I'll put it that way, so homeowners, property owners are going to be paying higher taxes. Why? Because the business is left.
Right, and they're not putting that tax.
They're not putting money in the tax base. Then when that happens, then you're going to have issues with the school district. Why? Because they're not getting enough money in anymore from the tax basis, so they're going to raise taxes. I hope people in Coatesville, Pennsylvania are listening to me right now.
Well, the analytics says
I believe they watch us. Okay. So if you breaking that down, so what you have to do, you attract more business, maybe not just one industry, several industries. Then when the big company comes, then the small businesses show up because there's a need. And what that happens then is when the employees are paid from that industry, the money circulates in the town.
That's right.
When money circulates in your town, then your town can grow. Because the money's not going outside of the town. Okay? The money stays in your town. So when you want to go out to eat, you can go to a place to go out to eat in your town. You need to go to a supermarket. You go to a food store in your town. You need to get your car repaired. You take your car to a repair shop in your town. The money stays in the town, so it's like a nice little revolution that goes through. Just keep on revolving around the town. So when that the employee gets that paycheck, it stays in the city. If it stays in the city, everyone is putting money in the pot to pay towards the taxes. You feel me?
I feel you.
These little towns need to start saying, let's attract some industry, because all it takes is, I say, don't just depend on one. Okay, it's like we got these places that are dependent on Amazon to come to their little town. Okay, because you know they know what's going to happen, but don't just depend on one. Let's start attracting several different industries. And then you can work with the school district to put programs in place to help the kids that are in the school get the job that's at that industry.
That's right.
Damn, I need to run for mayor of Coatesville if they had one.
Right. Yes. And that is very important. That's very key. And on a macro level, like a city, but on a micro level, like your own personal life, don't depend on one income stream. Have many things, have many fires in the pot. I mean, because I'm not even a person who says, give up your day job. I mean, you give up
Right.
your day job when it makes sense to you.
Exactly.
But leverage your day job so that the money that you're making, the resources that you're getting by being at work or from being at work, because you get resources at work. You got people that you can tell your business about. You got, sometimes you got computer programs that you can't necessarily access at home that you can use at work.
Free printing services.
None of any companies that I ever worked for, that I never did that though.
Never.
Never. But you can build your side businesses while you're still working, but with the knowledge that this will not, because some people enjoy their jobs. Like I've always been a person who's been better at like small business than working for someone else. So I've never really enjoyed. We always come to a impasse at work where it's like, I don't really enjoy this. And then I also have personal things that require my attention. So working for somebody, I have to put it in perspective. Like, do I want to make money for somebody else, or do I want to be available for my kids and make money for myself? So, but those are my reasons for being an entrepreneur. That might not be the case. There's some people who enjoy their jobs, love the type of impact that they have. But I say, even if that is you, still have something on the side. Always have something on the side.
Always.
Even if you want to start dabbling into real estate and looking into that.
You and I are on the same path. I was just thinking that. Because my husband, he works. He has a regular 9-to-5 job. Well, it's not always 9 to 5. Sometimes it's 9 to 10 or 2 o'clock in the morning. But we have a goal that within, I'm going to say the next 10 to 12 years, he could actually retire.
Yes.
And then we can work everything full time. And we working towards that goal, that actually energizes you in your work life. Like, okay, I'm only working this job 10 more years and I'm out. Let me get my business over here straight, and honestly, if things pick up even more, he might be able to leave before then. But that's our plan.
Right.
That's our plan.
Yeah.
So, wow, we gave a lot of stuff today.
Yes.
A lot of stuff today.
We give away no more stuff today.
No more stuff. So, wow, you guys. I really hope that you guys get something out of what we talked about today. Let's just do a quick recap. We want to thank all of our new listeners. And as you heard, our tribute to Kobe Bryant and those other 8 beautiful lives that we lost this week.
Right.
And use the lessons of his life and death for you personally.
Right.
And also, like, the whole intellectual property versus service, that is something really that you should really think about. I mean, especially if you are working.
Yes.
So that's tough. I've done that. I've worked a regular job and then went outside and got done, and had to go and work a regular job and then go clean at night.
Sometimes we have some of our responsibilities that pop up.
Exactly. So if you're able to create something digital or intellectual, you may not have to worry about the extra hours.
Right.
Or the extra hours may not be that taxing.
Right. And then quickly you can throw your passions into those things on the side that you can't necessarily with your regular job too sometimes.
Exactly.
So,
well, guys, this has been a very good show. Good show, Nikki. I think we did a good job.
One of our best, I think so.
I think so. Death was not something I ever thought we would talk about on this platform.
Yeah. But almost had to, right?
But in a way, I'm kind of glad.
Yeah.
So I for our listeners and watchers, feel free to leave any comments or send us any notes. We appreciate you subscribing and following us on whatever platform that you listen to. Those of you who watch us and say, oh, I'd rather listen, We're on just about every platform that you can think of. We're on Apple Podcasts, which is also, iTunes, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio. We are on Anchor, of course. Can't forget Anchor.
Oh no.
Can't forget Anchor. And we are also on TuneIn. You can also reach us through Alexa. Just ask for the Entreprenommies Show. Okay. And now we are on Pandora. So different places that you like to listen. Oh, of course, and we're on Spotify. I don't know how I forget Spotify. But we're on just about anywhere that you listen to podcasts. Just type in Entreprenommies. You'll find us.
Yes, and if you just look up Entreprenommies, we is all over the page.
All over. All yes. Them tags are working, girl. They working.
Yeah. That's okay.
Yes. So if you guys ever have any questions, feel free to send us an email at entreprenommies@gmail.com. I've been Tiffy T, the Resellqueen.
And this is Nicole Flamer.
And this has been an episode of Entrepremommies, and we are the mommies that handle business.
Okay, see you guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.